Vista Creek was a quiet town tucked away between forests and farmland, the kind of place where nothing serious ever happened, until Leah Brody vanished. She was 26, lived in a small apartment downtown, and worked at a real estate office just 2 blocks from Main Street. Her life was routine, stable, and full of plans. On the day she disappeared, it had been raining lightly since morning. At exactly 5:17 p.m., security footage captured Leah leaving her office, wearing a grey coat and holding a blue umbrella. She smiled at the receptionist, stepped outside, and was never seen again. Her fiancé, Mark, reported her missing by 8 p.m. when she didn't return his calls. Her parents showed up at her apartment by 9. Her phone went straight to voicemail. The next morning, her case was already all over local news. Police began searching immediately. Dogs were brought in. Helicopters scanned the area. They traced her phone's last known location to a deserted train depot on the edge of town. It was an eerie place, long abandoned, surrounded by thick brush and rusting fences. Yet, there was no trace of Leah. Her umbrella was never found. There were no tire marks, no signs of a struggle, and no witnesses who saw her after she left work. Rain had washed away any possible footprints or clues. It was as if she had simply evaporated into the mist. Despite media coverage, volunteer search parties, and round-the-clock police work, no leads emerged. As weeks turned into months, hope began to dim. People moved on. The posters faded. The town returned to its slow pace. But Leah's parents never stopped looking. And though the official investigation grew colder, one simple but crucial detail, something that could have changed everything, remained hidden in plain sight, waiting to be noticed. 2 months after Leah's disappearance, a hunter walking through the outskirts of Marlow Forest stumbled upon a dusty sedan hidden beneath a thick cover of pine branches and leaves. It was Leah's car, locked, intact, and strangely clean despite being exposed to the elements. The location was puzzling. It was over 12 miles from the last known phone ping at the train depot. How it got there and why it was hidden remained unanswered. Police towed the car for inspection, hoping it might finally unlock the mystery. But once again, answers were few. There were no fingerprints inside the vehicle, not even Leah's. No signs of a struggle, no blood, no DNA. The gas tank was half full. The tires were fine. It looked like someone had parked it gently and left. Inside the glove compartment, investigators found only one item that stood out, a crumpled movie ticket stub, dated the night after Leah vanished. It was for a local independent cinema known for screening old films. The discovery shocked the investigators. If Leah had used the ticket, it would mean she was alive at least one day after disappearing. Or someone else had used it in her place. Detectives rushed to retrieve the surveillance footage from the theater, hoping to find Leah. The footage was old and low resolution, recorded on grainy tape. But eventually, one segment caught attention. A woman with similar height and build to Leah entered the theater around 8:30 p.m. She was accompanied by a man, tall, wearing a black hoodie, and walking with a slight limp in his left leg. The camera never captured their faces clearly. The woman never turned toward the lens. But something about the way she walked felt familiar to Leah's family. The man, unknown and obscured, became the first real suspect. Yet no one knew who he was. The discovery of the theater footage left more questions than answers. Police had no clear image of the man seen with Leah, no idea how he was connected to her, and no leads to identify him. Weeks passed, and the investigation stalled again. But the internet hadn't forgotten. On a popular true crime forum, Leah's case became the center of growing speculation. Amateur sleuths dissected every known detail, frame by frame, desperate for a new clue. Then one user, going by the name *Spectre88*, made an unexpected connection that would shift the entire case. *Spectre88* posted a side-by-side comparison of the grainy theater footage and a scene from an old YouTube video. The video, uploaded 2 years earlier by an urban explorer, showed a man walking through the decaying halls of the abandoned Vista Creek Asylum. In both clips, the man wore a black hoodie and had a limp in his left leg. The footage quality made it hard to be certain, but when other users enhanced the frames, a faint logo on the hoodie appeared to match, faded, circular, and partially peeled. It was the same in both videos. Excitement spread fast. Viewers flooded the forum with theories, timelines, and location data. Someone traced the urban exploration video to a now-deleted channel. Using recovered metadata, another user identified a username that had once been tied to a forum account registered in a nearby town. Digging deeper, users found an email address, and eventually, a property deed, an old, remote farmhouse on the outskirts of Vista Creek. The forum lit up. Users urged police to investigate, posting maps, screenshots, and GPS coordinates. What had begun as online curiosity was now a digital manhunt. The authorities, finally listening, followed the internet's trail to the farmhouse. What they found would shock everyone. The farmhouse sat in silence at the end of a dirt road, hidden behind overgrown trees and a rusted gate. From the outside, it looked abandoned, windows boarded up, paint peeling, and the roof partially caved in. But as officers approached, they noticed recent tire tracks in the mud. The door was unlocked. Inside, dust coated most surfaces, but certain areas were clean, recently used. A flashlight beam revealed footprints on the wooden floor leading toward the basement. What at first seemed like a dead end quickly turned into something much darker. Down in the basement, officers discovered a wall panel that had been freshly nailed shut. Behind it was a narrow hidden room with no windows and a low ceiling. Inside was a thin mattress, stained and worn, along with empty cans of food, water bottles, and a small battery-powered lamp. The air was heavy, but the most disturbing find was the metal cabinet bolted to the wall. Once opened, its contents confirmed their worst fears. Inside were several of Leah's personal items, her missing work ID badge, her engagement ring, and a silver bracelet her mother had given her as a child. Most chilling was the small journal bound in blue fabric. The first pages described her abduction in haunting detail. She wrote about being followed, grabbed outside her office, and driven for hours before being locked in the basement. Each entry grew more desperate. She wrote about the man's erratic behavior, his obsession with starting over, and how he believed the world needed to reset. The final entry was unfinished, the ink trailing off mid-sentence. In the woods behind the farmhouse, police discovered a shallow grave. The body inside was identified as Leah Brody. The journal had given her a voice, but her killer was gone. And he had planned it that way. 3 days after the discovery at the farmhouse, a strange video surfaced online. It was posted on an old, inactive YouTube channel under a username linked to the man suspected of abducting Leah. The video was titled simply Watch. It began with flickering images, blurry shots of Leah's missing posters, headlines from the local news, and flashes of the theater footage. Distorted music played in the background, almost like a lullaby slowed down to an eerie crawl. The entire video lasted just over 2 minutes. There were no voices, no explanations. But those who watched closely noticed something terrifying. In the final few frames, hidden among static and flashes of white, a string of numbers appeared, coordinates. They pointed to a location 2 states away, a suburban storage facility in a quiet neighborhood. Authorities acted fast. Inside the storage locker, they found shelves stacked with old VHS tapes, neatly labeled with names, dates, and locations. Some were cities across the country. Others were close to Vista Creek. It was clear these tapes were not random. When investigators reviewed the footage, it became evident that Leah hadn't been his first victim. The tapes showed hidden camera footage of different women, walking home, sitting in cafes, shopping, even inside their apartments. Each tape documented a routine, a pattern, a timeline. And one tape was dated just 4 days before Leah's body was found. A woman, alive, unaware she was being watched. A new victim. The realization struck hard. The killer hadn't stopped. He was still active, still planning. And now, thanks to the video, he knew the world was watching. But he had vanished again, leaving behind only clues and questions. Leah's case had been solved by strangers on the internet. But the man behind it remained free. Somewhere out there, watching someone else.